Welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. If you are catching this on video, we do post this to our YouTube channel. I feel like I'm so dressed up today. I had something that I wanted to record for the psychotherapy clinic this morning, and so I dressed up for that. Um, I don't put on a blazer very often these days. I feel like blazers used to be my uniform when I was a psychotherapist, especially when we practiced in clinic. I was, almost always wearing a pair of denim, I love jeans, and a blazer, and that was, like, my work uniform. So, feeling a little dressed up today. I was in the mood to record an episode for you. I was in the mood to have a conversation. So here we are, and I'm excited to bring this particular conversation forward. It's a conversation that has been taking place. There's been content and just discussions that I've had over on my Instagram community with regards to this topic, and it's all about decision making. It's all about decision making. Um, and of all the skills I think that I work with people on, even when I was a psychotherapist and definitely now in coaching, um, the ability to make decisions with clarity and with confidence is a topic that comes up over and over and over again. And when you really think about it, right? For those of you that are parents, for example, and raising children, raising teens, one of the core life skills that I think most of us try to teach our children is actually how to make decisions, how to make good decisions, we would probably say. And so the conversation I want to have with you today is definitely about decision making. And I hope that this will be an integrative conversation that really takes into account the power of emotional intelligence and the mechanics of human design as it comes to decision making. So let's talk for a moment in terms of what happens from an emotional intelligence perspective when we are unable to make decisions with confidence. So, what I have noticed in working with people is that there is a very strong correlation between decision making, anxiety, and confidence. So, quite often, when our levels of anxiety are high, our ability to make decisions decreases. And subsequently, our confidence also decreases. And so, when we are able to manage our anxiety and when we are able to make decisions with clarity, when we feel good about our ability to make decisions, quite often, almost always, I don't think I've ever seen this not happen, is that our confidence actually goes up. So we know from an emotional intelligence perspective that there is a strong correlation between decision making and confidence. The more, number one, the more confident we feel, typically the easier it is for us to make decisions, but also the more clarity we have around a process for making decisions, the more confident we actually feel, the more risks we are willing to take. We're willing to play a bigger game. So there is a pretty significant impact that happens in all aspects of our lives when we learn how to make good decisions. And I'm using good decisions right now because we're talking in the context of emotional intelligence. Let's shift gears a little bit and begin to integrate now the human design perspective when it comes to decision making. In the traditional practice, understanding, and science of human design, the language that is often used as it relates to decision making is correct decision making. Correct decision making. Decision making in human design. I thought that was turned off. Let me turn that off. Okay. Hopefully we don't have those interruptions. Um, where was I? In traditional human design, the language that is often used around decision making is the concept of making decisions that are correct for your authority. So within human design, we each and every one of us has a decision making authority. On your human design chart, it is noted as your authority. So you'll have your type. For example, I am a projector. That is my type. My decision making authority, however, is that I am an emotional authority. And even within the projector type, there are several different decision making authorities. In fact, within the projector type, it's probably the most confusing when it comes to decision making authorities because there are so many different decision making authorities available to projectors. But it is all by design. It is all captured within your actual human design chart. So, once we understand what our decision making authority is, the idea is that any decisions that we make should be in alignment with our decision making authority. You've probably heard the term alignment. It is used so much in the online space. And I'll tell you, when I first heard this term, I was like, what does that actually mean? What does it mean? It sounds like something I want. It sounds like something I desire. It sounds like a good thing. It actually sounds like something maybe I'm missing in my life. And all of those things were true. But what I had a really hard time understanding is, what does alignment actually mean? What do I need to do? What are the steps that I need to take in order to put myself in alignment? So, in human design, alignment, what that actually means is that we are making decisions that are correct for us according to our decision making authority. That's what it actually means. And so, the first step in understanding how to make decisions that are correct for you is actually understanding what your decision making authority is. And of all the things you could learn within human design, I believe this is one of the most important. It is tied very closely to understanding what your life strategy is according to your type. So, as a projector, I have a specific strategy that if I tap into this strategy, it actually allows me to move more effortlessly through life. Our decision making authority is very similar. Once we understand what our decision making authority is, we can then begin practicing utilizing. It's like a decision making authority is almost like a decision making guideline. The word authority is a little bit funny, and to be honest, most people that are new to design will tell me that they find the language a bit confusing. Some people find the language a bit restrictive. It's a traditional system. There's traditional language associated with it. So try not to get hung up on the word authority. What it simply means is that this is a process by which you are designed to make decisions. And if you use this process to make decisions, this really, really cool thing happens. What happens is that when we make decisions that are aligned with this process, it actually puts us on what is called the correct geometry for our life. Now, there's another human design term, geometry. Geometry, the way that I understand it, it's like it puts you on the correct path. Your geometry, we each have a unique geometry that is sort of mapped out for us. This is the most effortless path to our success, to our satisfaction, to our enjoyment, to our goals, to our desires, all of those sorts of things. Right. So we each have a geometry. That term can be used synonymously with path. We each have a correct path for our life. And each decision that we make that utilizes our decision making authority actually puts us on the correct geometry or the correct path for our life. So, when we talk about the term alignment, This is what it actually means. Alignment, because of course, let's say you are in physical care, you are a physiotherapist, or maybe you're a yoga practitioner or you're a chiropractor. I can imagine that alignment means something very specific for you when it comes to our physiology. Okay. So when we talk about alignment in the space of personal development, and specifically if we understand the mechanics of human design, what alignment means is it actually means making decision after decision after decision after decision, being in the practice of making decisions that are correct according to your type and your authority, your decision making authority. And the beautiful thing about this, what I love about this is number one, it's a science. You guys know me. I like a good science. I like a good system. I like a good roadmap. Like these are the structures for me that actually allow me to expand even more fully, right? For me, the beauty of having a science, the beauty of having a system, the beauty of having a framework is that within that framework, I can fully expand. I can be fully expressed. I can learn to trust myself even more deeply. And so, one of the most important mechanics, because the human design system is a mechanical system, there are mechanics to how we are designed energetically. And the human design system basically gives us that roadmap, right? It gives us the roadmap to our internal energetic mechanics. Like, how cool is that? Um, so when we actually follow our decision making authority again, and it doesn't happen with just one decision, it's got to be that consistent practice of making decisions that are actually in alignment with our decision making authority. We are then placed, we are like, it's almost like we are facing the correct direction for our life path. Like, this is the most effortless and the most powerful path for us to be taking, right? So each decision that is made in alignment with our decision making authority is actually what unlocks the path to our success, to our expansion, to our satisfaction in life. Okay. Now, the inverse is also true. So each decision that we make that is outside of our alignment actually creates chaos. I find this fascinating. I find this really fascinating because I remember countless conversations with clients both as a psychotherapist and as a coach. Because when I first started coaching, I wasn't integrating human design, right? So, countless conversations with clients where they would say to me, Shamala, I don't know what to do. Like, my life feels like a mess right now. Like, my life feels so chaotic right now. It just feels like everything's kind of unraveling or everything's kind of falling apart. And I don't really know where to start. And the truth is, there have been many times in my own life where I have experienced this level of chaos or confusion or overwhelm or dissatisfaction. Like, this has been a very common experience for me as well. And so when I learned that from a human design perspective, each decision that I make in alignment with my design puts me on the correct geometry or the correct path for me, for my life, not for yours, because everyone's is different. We're all unique. And each decision that I make that is outside of alignment in terms of my design actually creates chaos. It creates confusion. It creates anxiety, to be honest with you. It creates a lot of really uncomfortable emotional experiences. It's like an indication that we are actually on the wrong path, that we are not in alignment. And so, this is why, from a human design perspective, right? If you work with a human design guide who is really trained in the mechanics of this system, what they will most likely start with in terms of their guidance and their coaching is really teaching you how to utilize, how to understand your type. Number one, very, very important to understand what your type is, and what that actually means. And just as important, this often happens concurrently, is we then guide around how to make decisions according to our decision making authority. Okay. Because it's these two pieces, especially the decision making authority piece, it's these pieces that really allow us to leverage the human design system so that we are on the right personalized, individualized path for our success. This, for me, is the most profound tool that we can access in order to really amplify our success. All right, my friends, I absolutely loved having this conversation with you. If you have any comments, if anything came up for you, please reach out to me. I absolutely love hearing from you.